Hey, Seth David here from the world-famous Nerd Enterprises Incorporated, bringing to you another special screencast. This time we're talking about how to use tags in QuickBooks Online. Now, what are tags? Why do we want to use them? How's it going to make your life different? How's it going to make your life amazing? Well, the simple answer is tags are a mechanism that you're probably already familiar with. You've probably used software that allowed you to tag things, right? And usually with tags, you can put multiple tags on something because there may be different ways you're going to want to sort of access that data later on. It's all about organizing, categorizing, and easily referencing data later on. Plus, with QuickBooks Online, which now has tags, has had it actually for a little while, it gives you a great reporting mechanism. And one use case that's obvious to me, that is probably obvious to a lot of you for how this might be very useful, is let's take events for an example. A lot of us go to trade shows and other kinds of events for our industries, and we want to be able to track the expenses that we've incurred in connection with that trade show each year. And we also want to be able to track the income that we've brought in as a result of that trade show, right? So we go to the trade show, we meet a bunch of people, we get their business cards, and then later on, hopefully, they become clients. So we want to be able to tag them when we produce invoices or sales receipts to them. We want to be able to tag that trade show so that we can later run reports that show here's all the revenue we brought in from that trade show and compare that with the expenses. So we have data so we can see, was that trade show profitable? And if it wasn't profitable for some reason, we can try and analyze now. First of all, now we'll be clued into the fact that there's an analysis to be done. Why wasn't it profitable? Was it because the trade show was terrible? Maybe. Maybe it's because we didn't have a good strategy for how we're going to engage with customers or potential customers at that trade show. Data. It's all about data, and tags in QuickBooks Online are a great way to add another dimension to your data so that you can get really good information out of that data. It's not about just getting a tax return filed when you're keeping books in an accounting system. It's about what you can do with that data. It's about how you can use that information to determine where am I at today and where do I want to be in a year from now, and how do I lay out the yardsticks for how I'm going to get there. Let's take a look at my screen. I'll show you how tags work in QuickBooks Online. And by the way, coming up as of this recording, I have my process and workflow design series starting on January 8th, 2021. And this is going to be discussed as part of it in the fourth week or fourth segment of the series. We're going to talk about how to infuse reporting into your process, because whatever you do, even if you're not an accountant or bookkeeper, if you serve a client in any capacity in a service-based industry, then part of your job is going to be that you need to be able to give them data. You need to be able to give them analytics, and that means reports. And you should design as part of your process what reports your clients are going to get. For the accountant and bookkeeper, use case is obvious, right? We should be defining, if we haven't already, exactly what kind of reporting our client's going to get and how often. There's going to be some information we want to look at daily, some weekly, some monthly, quarterly, annually. You get the idea. So let's take a look at tags, and we're going to be discussing this kind of stuff in the fourth segment of my series coming up on process and workflow design. And if it's after the event, it will be rolled up as a course that you can purchase and access on my website. So, QuickBooks Online, first of all, tags are available in, I believe, all levels of QuickBooks Online. They're definitely available in Plus. The sample company I'm using today is in QuickBooks Online Plus, and of course they're available in QuickBooks Online Advanced. And there's only a marginal difference between the two. In QuickBooks Online Plus, you have a limit of up to 40 tag groups, and I'll explain what those are in a minute, with a grand total of 300 tags across the board. In QuickBooks Online Advanced, you have no limit that I can see on the number of tag groups that you can create, but you have the same limit in terms of 300 total tags across the board. Other than that, pretty much the same access that you have between QuickBooks Online Plus and QuickBooks Online Advanced in terms of tags. So, two ways to get to the tags. One is through banking, and click right here where it says tags. The other one is here in the gear icon. And under lists, you'll go to tags. Same idea. Okay. Now, I mentioned events, right? We're in On Target Inc., which is my John Wick company, my sample company file for John Wick. So let's say that John Wick has an event coming up called the HIT Convention, right? And it's coming up in 2022. So you can see already that I've tagged an expense, right? And it shows you here in the the high level, sort of widget dialog here over the last 365 days that we've spent $5,000 on the hit convention because that's the tag I've set up, and it's under the tag group called events, right? So now you can see what the difference is between a tag group and the actual tag. So I'll have a tag group called events, and every event that I go to is going to be a tag that I create within that group called events. Now you can create a standalone tag. From what I've seen so far, it seems like they're really designed to be incorporated into groups, and you'll see why in the reporting in a couple of minutes, right? So how do I get this into the transaction? Well, very simply, if I click here now where it says one transaction, and I can click right here into the transaction, you'll see, and you'll see this in any transaction in QuickBooks Online, even estimates you can create tags on, right? So all I did, if I pull this right back out, is when I click in here, it's going to show me the list of all the available tags. Let's say, as I'm in here, I happen to remember, oh, you know what, QuickBooks Connect is coming up. So on the fly right here, I can just add that as another tag under events, right? I don't actually want to use that here though. So I'm going to exit out and put this transaction back into the hit convention tag, right? Now save and close. And now we want to be able to get reports, right? So here's the thing, and this is important. When I first started playing with this, I thought, okay, let me just jump over to the profit and loss. Okay. And I'll run this for all dates. And in the display columns bar, if you scroll down, you'll find your tag groups here. So here's my events tag group. And I can run that, and it's going to show me Hit Convention Continental Hotel 2022, right? But let's say I wanted to switch that around and see if I have anything in the QuickBooks Connect tag group, for example, or the QuickBooks Connect event. First of all, if I did, and since I'm running this for all dates, and since that one is in the events group, it would show up here. But what I want to get at is when you access the reporting the way that we did through the standard P&L, if I go to Customize and I go to Filter, there's no access to the tags here, right? But you can access the tags in a filter in a report in QuickBooks Online, just not this way. So let me show you how to do it. And the bottom line moral of the story is you're going to want to run reports starting with, going into the tags area here. And then from within here, you can run reports. Key distinction here. If I run the report at the tag group level, I get one kind of report. If I expand this and I run the report at the actual tag level, I get another kind of report. Let's take a look and see. So if I run the report here at the tag group level, run report, it's going to show me a transaction detail report here, right? Right now I've just got the one transaction in the one tag for a hit convention. If I had more expenses in different tags, they would be grouped and totaled accordingly, right? I'll show you what I mean. Let's say now I go and I want to book my lodging for the upcoming QuickBooks Connect conference, right? So I'll go here. We're going to stay at the Continental Hotel. Okay, this goes to lodging. And let's say I'm just putting a $500 deposit down on my room. And over here in tags, we're going to click on QuickBooks Connect. Okay, save and close. And now you can see how that report takes shape, right? If I scroll out to the right, you can see I've got everything grouped by tag. And actually, I take back what I said. It doesn't total by tag, unless maybe it needs more than one in order to do that. So let me add one more expense to the hit convention, because we got the ammo. That's what that $5,000 was for. Let's buy some body armor. Okay, so Acme. Okay, and that's going to also be cost of goods sold. And save and close. Okay, and it assigned the tag hit convention, I think because that's where I was at when I went to create this. I'm not actually sure. And by the way, manage tags here gets you into the bigger dialog where you can also just manage the full-fledged tags area from here in terms of groups and tags within them and so on. And of course you can create anything you need, and it's got a nice little search here, so if as my list starts to get long, I can use this to quickly find something like the hit convention while I'm here, right? So that's a cool little feature here. All right, let's hit save and close. Okay, and now I've got the two. And notice it does not total. Let's change the amount so it's not confusing what was what. Let's say the body armor was $2,500. So that's important to note. It does not subtotal the groupings here, but obviously what I could do is I can filter it. So let's go to Customize, and now I can filter. And now I cannot filter by tags, but there's a way to get there, right? So I forgot that in this dialog, approaching it this way, and this is kind of what I mean. The reporting on tags, it's a little touchy in terms of how you approach things, and I'm sure this is going to change. Intuit's constantly updating these things. So, because what I'd really want to be able to do here, obviously, is quickly filter this for just one convention so that at least this report is giving me a total. But there's actually, as I'm looking, there's not even a total on this report. So let's look at the other kind of report that you can create, which may actually be a little more useful in a lot of cases. So again, if I expand on the events group, and I run the report at the tag level. So I'm going to run the report on the hit convention here. When I run this report, what I'm actually getting is a P&L for that convention, which looks just like what we got when we ran it through the standard P&L. But now if I customize this and I go to filter, I've got my tags in here. So now I could say, show me QuickBooks Connect also, right? Or I could say, show me everything. Or I could easily swap them out. So for whatever reason, at least as of this recording, that's the only way you can access the tags in a filter, right? And at least this way, I can run this and say, okay, well, here's my total expenses for the HIT convention at the Continental Hotel. If I add the QuickBooks Online conference into this report by including it in the tags filter, now I've got a second column for the lodging expense for QuickBooks Connect. And so I can start looking, if I needed to for any reason, if it was useful for some reason, I can look at the different conferences side by side and how I'm spending money on them. Now, one last piece I want to mention that I want to show you here, which I think is really cool. It's just this is how my brain works. This is how I come up with ways to use these things that I think are really cool. So first, let me go into my customers area here. I've created a customer called Robert Smith. And mind you, I've also created a customer type, which you'll find as you edit the customer like I just did under additional info. I've created a customer type called prospects. I just figure that'll come in handy later on, right? But watch what else you can do. So let's say I'm at the HIT conference and I meet Robert Smith and he mentions that he may have a need for my services, right, as John Wick. So I want to kind of record the fact that he's a prospect who I met specifically at this convention. What you can do, and this occurred to me when I discovered that you could use tags on estimates, is I can create an estimate for him. He's not a customer yet, but I just quickly added him in here, and I want to tag it with the HIT convention. And over here, I can, I can put in the product or service that I'm probably going to be hired for, and I can put in an estimate of what I think I'm going to end up charging him for it. So let's just say 15,000, right? These things are expensive these days. I don't know. Anyway, so now I've got this estimate here, which is kind of like a placeholder, and I'm also going to tag it Robert Smith. So I created a tag for prospects in a tag group. I created a tag for Robert Smith in a tag group called prospects, right? If I click here where it says manage tags, you can see that right here, right? So again, you can put multiple tags on any transaction. I don't know if there's a limit to how many tags you can add. Maybe it tells us here, right? I'm not going to waste your time now. You can check that out on your own later on. But if I hit save and close, this is an estimate, so it's a non-posting transaction. It's not going to show up on a P&L anywhere, right? If I go to my tags area and I run a report on, well, it would have been on the HIT convention, right? So I run report on the HIT convention. Notice there's no income here, right? Straight to cost of goods sold because, again, there's no posting from an estimate, right? It's just to create a placeholder so that later on, now let's say Robert Smith comes in and he says, you know what, I do want to hire you, right? So we're going to bring him up, Robert Smith. Okay, as soon as I do, it brings the estimate in. Let's just drop that in here. Now the estimate becomes an invoice. Notice it picks up the tags from the estimate even, which is pretty nice. And now I can hit save and close. Okay, and now I've got my income for undisclosed services, right? And now I can start to see that, I spent $7,500 for the HIT convention, but I've now already brought in 15,000, so it's starting to yield a nice little ROI on that convention. That, my friends, is your 2 cents or 10 cents worth on how you might start using tags in QuickBooks Online. I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget, first of all, as always, to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. But I would love to hear your feedback or get your ideas for how you think you might be able to use tags in QuickBooks Online, especially if you have questions about it. If you want to run it by me, I'm around. I'm available. You know how to find me. Post your comments below wherever you happen to be watching this video. Reach out to me through the contact form on my website. Reference this video. Let me know, hey, I was watching your video on how to use tags in QuickBooks Online, and share your ideas with me, share your questions with me. As always, I hope you learned something here. I hope you had some fun along the way. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you on the web.